So hey guys, welcome back to my Agios Athanatos Orthodox Podcast. And I'm on another walk. It's a lot more cloudy and rainy than yesterday, a bit more rainy than yesterday. On the weekend, like 2 days ago, I went to the beach and it was boiling for 2 days. But you know Melbourne, one day sunny, another day cyclone. It's like a crazy. But anyways, yes, I wanted to make my series because to encourage more for this Agios Athanatos series, with the Orthodox podcast series, to which the name was inspired by a vision I got. And also I got the vision to make a series, which is, if you get something like that, you can't ignore it because it's the Holy Spirit talking to you. But also it's a good idea because I've been getting more into this Orthodox religion topic since I came back from my holiday. Anyways, yes, I want to encourage more. I'm not any priest like the priest like patristic nectar or Orthodox ethos, or priests that have channels, Orthodox channels that and they give advice. I'm not like them, but there's other people that are like me and they give advice. Yes, there's other people like me that give advice, and they're not priests, and it's just like a hobby for them. So yes, and I want to give advice and positive advice on how to live more Orthodox life. I think that's interesting. So I did my first video on what to do if people challenge you and you feel like you can't do it anymore. People persecute you, and not in the persecute. It doesn't always have to be like martyr persecute, bloody persecute. Oh no, like mentally persecuting you, like making you feel down, like you can't do it anymore, like modern persecution, not sword and killing and crucifixion. No, that's old school. It still happens like in some countries, I think, but basically these days it's more of a mental thing, not really physical like it used to be. But yes, if people are being mentally persecuted, or if they're in other countries, someone sees, I don't know, if they see my videos of other people's videos and they feel like they're the only Christian person in the country and they can't do it, videos like this might give them hope. Or normal people that just feel like they're alone, like I used to be. And I watched videos like this, and I want to start my own YouTube channel to encourage more of this topic and to stand up against the woke madness. Anyways, yes, and that's why I started this channel. And now I want to talk about judgment. Lesson 1 was about standing up to evil and being more orthodox. Lesson 2 will be judgment. So first you were persecuted and you discriminated for something like standing up for being Christian or whatever. Yes, being Christian and Orthodox. And now what do? You don't judge. You pray for your enemies. Your enemies don't know what they're doing. God says to not judge because he will judge you, something like that, he says. But yes, don't judge unless you want to be judged. If you do something bad, God will act accordingly. You judge someone, you be mean, you bully them back, God will say, you did that. But you say, no, I did that for self-defense, and I didn't mean to. It's his fault, and God said, oh no, it doesn't matter. If someone did something bad, you don't follow him. You act how you should be a good role model. You don't copy the bad role model, the person that's their bad role model. You be their good role model for the bad role model, and then they become a good role model for everyone. You don't just, because and God would be right, if that's basically how he works. That's what, if you went up there and you died right now, he would say that probably, if you did something bad, or you tried saying, oh, well, I did this bad thing. He said, why did you do it? Because I didn't want to do it, but he did, and blah, blah, blah. And then he would say, not good enough. You should have been the good role model. So first, don't judge, because if you judge, you'll be judged. You have to pray for your enemies, and don't contain anger. And if you go to judge, remember that that's the enemy, the devil, Satan, is attacking, is trying to persuade you to become angry, to judge. It's Satan that made anger. It's Satan that made all these bad emotions, fear. Also, yes, don't judge, and don't get too angry. Don't get angry at all. Be like Agios Athanatos. I was basically created by God. That's how holy Agios Athanatos was, of Mount Athos. Yes, basically, when you start to get angry, hold your feelings back and say your Jesus prayer, your holy prayers, and yes, and remember Jesus is by your side, and the saints and the apostles and the Theotokos and everyone is by your side. So remember that. That's very important. And cool down, pray for your enemies, and spread the message peacefully. Not like the Protestants aren't wrong how they do it, Protestant people, but be more peaceful like Orthodox people. Traditionally, they spread the message Russia to Alaska and Russia to Central Asia. They were more peaceful the way they did it. Byzantine people and everyone, they didn't slaughter people, or they didn't go out on the street like saying, you know Judas, you know what he did. No, they didn't do that like Catholic or Protestant Western churches did. They were more peaceful. They were traditional, but they didn't mass convert people and kill people for not being Christian, and then force convert them like the other churches did. Or they weren't soft, and they didn't do that how the Catholic Church went and killed people and mass converted them, or they said convert or die. That's what the Muslims do. We don't do that in Orthodox religion. We peacefully convert them. We support them to convert. We are very peaceful traditionally, and that's why there's a nice energy in the church. And that's why more people in America, I know from channels like Patristic, Nectar, support. I encourage you to go and see them. They say that more Americans are converting to Orthodoxy around the world. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Even here in Australia, I think it's happening like that. Yes, and basically that's why Orthodox is growing, because it doesn't have a violent past, but it doesn't really, I don't think it does. It doesn't have a violent past like the Catholic Church, or it doesn't have, or it's not like annoying like the Protestant Church where they go out on the street and annoy people and say, you know who this Jesus person is? No, it's not bad the way they do it, but it's just annoying. And it's not good the way Catholic Church is now, because they're too woke. In the past they were too violent. Orthodoxy was always, and also Protestants are just annoying a lot of these modern pastor people. Unless there's some other people like, I think his name is some Protestant pastor on YouTube that's very good at debating, but most of them are annoying, and they have things like some policies and dogmas that aren't really orthodox, not traditional, and they're not also annoying. They're just, you don't agree with them. They're not very traditional. Orthodox is traditional, non-violent, and it works. And it's the true Catholic Apostolic Church. The Orthodox is non-violent, from what I see. It's not really violent. It's not violent. Like the Catholic Church is traditional, unlike the modern Catholic and Protestant churches. And yes, basically, and it's the one true Catholic Orthodox Apostolic Church, and it supports you to get into it, and it's a peaceful, nice environment to be into, and I encourage everyone to look into this, okay? Because it's a nice church. I went to the Catholic church once in the city here in Melbourne. I thought this energy isn't as peaceful as the Orthodox one. It's more commercial, like you're in a town hall. It felt cold. No icons. Where's the icons? Climate change brochures here. There wasn't. No. The Orthodox Church is more traditional, and I encourage people to look into it. The Catholic Church isn't bad, but the Orthodox is more traditional, so I encourage people to look into it more. That's why. And yeah, basically, yeah, on this part. And then basically, yes, don't judge unless you want to be judged. Pray, and your prayers, pray your prayers inside of you, and say Jesus' name and ask for the saints and the Theotokos and Jesus to forgive you and to protect you. And don't get angry. Just think that he's next to you. And don't judge unless you want to be judged. Remain peaceful at all times. Do what you think is right. And yeah. Basically, yes. Don't judge unless you want to be judged. Remain peaceful and do your mission peacefully, like the original Orthodox forefathers, the original Orthodox martyrs, and everyone did in the early centuries. And copy them. Be like Agios Paisios. Defend yourself if you have to be silent for a period, so you don't get very persecuted. But don't be silent and comply with the people. But don't be completely silent. Be brainwashed. Don't do that. Don't pretend you're not seeing things. Just be enough silent to get by your day, through that period that you need to get through. But generally, just unless you need to be silent for a task, you really need to, and not be persecuted, not be kicked out of work or school or whatever. You have to stand up for who you are and be an example. Don't be racist or whatever, but be an example. Yeah. Don't be racist or anything. Don't be sexist. Don't be racist. That's not orthodox. That might maybe some Catholic people, some Protestant people might be a bit extreme like that. But that's not orthodox. No, you have to be peaceful, remain peaceful, love everyone, always remain peaceful, whatever happens, remain peaceful and love everyone. Also, yeah, and do your job, stand up for what you believe, and yeah. And yeah, stand up for what you believe, and yes, and be peaceful, remain peaceful, whatever happens. Say your prayers inside of you. Don't be angry. Don't. I know I wanted to do the crosses like in my last video, I said the crosses on the posters, but on the wall, but that wasn't good how they reacted, because they were a bit cold. I did that because they didn't care about to put up a cross, and I knew they would say no if I asked if we could put an icon on a cross or a cross up on the wall. So I did that anyways, but I should have asked, and even though it's their fault for having such a kind of a cold personality, and you know them, they're woke, it's also kind of me, because in the Bible says, it doesn't really, I don't think it would say don't graffiti, unless it's pro-Bible graffiti, unless, I know it wasn't supposed to be graffiti, but I was a bit, it shows that you're not following the rules, and it shows a bad example for Christians. So I don't think it was messy, but I think it wasn't the best choice. I could have done it better. So yes, you have to say that you were wrong and others were wrong, and you have to both, yeah, you have to say you and others were wrong. Yeah. But if someone doesn't agree, well, we're both kind of wrong for doing that. Me for drawing, and even though I wanted to, it was for a good purpose, outcome. But even though it wasn't too messy, it was still drawing on a wall. It wasn't good, and it could have been done better, if I'm honest. And you have to accept that if you're wrong, like I'm doing. But also, you don't have to. You weren't completely wrong sometimes, like I was. I wasn't completely wrong, because it was this woke people that kind of made me do it, and they're forcing others to do what they want, and it's also kind of their fault for being like that. So, but you have to also accept that you are wrong sometimes, like I am. And so don't be like me. I wanted to spread the message, be like me, like that, but don't learn from my mistakes and your mistakes. And don't do things like, oh, I think it's cool to draw a cross on a wall. No, it's not. Now I know that. We could have done that a lot more peacefully, in a different way, more orthodox way. Even though it wasn't the worst outcome, it wasn't the best. So yes, be peaceful how you did it. I don't think I was what happened was the worst outcome, because it wasn't the best what I did, but it wasn't the worst. So always rethink and learn from your mistakes, and accept that you were wrong if you were wrong, and do things the more orthodox way, like that. And yes, learn from your mistakes and be peaceful, spread the message more peacefully or in an orthodox way, and peacefully, like more spread the message more peacefully and in a more orthodox, peaceful way, like the saints and martyrs of the Orthodox Church. They spend, and generally the Church, they spread their message. They weren't violent like some Catholic churches. When they went in, some Catholic people that went into new countries to invade them, they were a bit violent. They weren't like that. Even some Orthodox people, I think they were a bit. But most Orthodox people, emperors and people, they weren't too violent. They were good. They were quite peaceful, actually. So yes, while they went into Alaska, they were peaceful. Use that as an example, Alaska. And they gently they turned them into Christian. The local Alaska people, gently, not violently, like other countries did. So that's good, at least. And be like that. Do things, stand up for yourself. If you have to really, like if someone's threatening to sue you or to fire you for what you're doing, if you must, you can lie down, lie low, not do too much until you can finally show your true self again more, and say the things you really want to, but and be yourself more after the more strict dictatorship period ends. But generally be yourself, show who you really are, and protect your Orthodox and Christian faith, religion, and culture. But in a peaceful way, or in a rude way, in an Orthodox way, gentle, traditional, peaceful, non-violent way, in how the early Orthodox people and emperors and people had spread it. And be traditional but gentle, like the early or traditional Orthodox people are. Traditional but gentle. It's like a kind of like Buddhism, how it's traditional but gentle, like that. And don't judge unless you want to be judged. Treat others how you want to be treated. And pray for your enemies. Pray that you don't get angry. Pray for your enemies and be kind in your heart. And also, you should be proud of who you are, because God created you the way you are for a reason. And I wanted to start this channel. It was a vision I had to spread more Orthodox thinking. And the name Saint Agios Athanatos was from Agios Athanatos, from a prayer, I think. And yes, Agios is heroes, Agios Athanatos. It was from a prayer. In my prayer book, I got a vision of it. And if you get visions like that to do something, do it. Chase after your dreams and do it. And I hope I will be making my channel more Orthodox. Maybe I have a Rumble channel. I'll put it in the description below. But yes. And then I hope I make a YouTube channel or a proper good playlist podcast here on YouTube if I can in the future, and make my channel more Orthodox in the future, because that'll be good if I can. And maybe even a podcast in the future on Spotify or somewhere like that if I can. And then chase your dreams. Be more Orthodox, be non-violent, say your things in a traditional, Orthodox, gentle, non-violent, peaceful way. And what I recommend you to watch Patristic Nectar and Orthodox Ethos. That will be in my description for more videos of advice and things like this, because not sponsored or anything, but they're truly good channels and I recommend them. And yes, basically the first video was dealing with bullies and discrimination and modern persecution. Second one, like this, will be dealing with the judgment or how you react to that and the after effect a bit. And then the next video will be for I'll see, it's not really planned, but I'll see, and I'll try to make the best video for you and upload as often as I can. Until next time, goodbye and stay blessed. Goodbye.